Welcome back. We're talking with Dr. Tiffany about, you just said it, everyone's sick right now. It seems like there's a lot of people coming in, and that's what they're coming in for, is they have the respiratory issues, they got the drippy sinus issues, and it's all because of those gas pedals.
And so, you know, a lot of people don't realize that the chronic gas pedal is what creates the chronic immune issues. And so when somebody, asthma, allergies, those are prime gas pedal. And so people are starting to loop a lot of these things into autoimmune. Well, it's truly a neurology, physiology, and immunity issue. So asthma, allergies, chronic infections, so throat, ear infection, sinus. Sinus is really, really, really huge right now. I just did a Facebook Live on, well, not on my way here, but before I got here, on some of those things to evaluate is not only what the diagnosis is that we're dealing with, but what are the other things that we can do? Like you just said, I don't feel like my gas pedal's cranked as much. I feel like that's why my immune system is working better. Well, if our stress is a 9 out of a 10 all the time, and our kids' stress is a lot of times, if our food is crappy, like the first thing I suggest to get rid of is the inflammatory foods. You know, unfortunately, dairy and gluten are the first two things that are the highest inflammatory, especially for a kid. Are you eating school lunches? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you moving? And have you been adjusted? Because that's all what kicks on the system. You know, so if that kid that has chronic ear infections, they likely have constipation issues. They likely get sick often. They likely have behavioral issues. The more that happens and the more we give a drug, let's just say that it's what we're talking about, drug-free, to fix the symptom, it doesn't allow the immune system to actually kick in and do its job. Fever. If I were to ask you guys, is a fever good or bad, what would you say?
I would say bad, but I feel like that's
going
to be the wrong answer.
How about this? Do parents typically allow the fever? Do they encourage it, or do they discourage it? Discourage. Fever is what gets that second part of the immune system to kick in. And so if we're stopping it all the time, and I'm not to say like if it gets to a certain point, you got to know those things, but many times like kids can't go to daycare if it's 1 degree over. So what do? We give Tylenol to make sure that they can go to daycare. That completely stops how the immune system works. So I would say, let's figure out how not to do that stuff. If our body can do it, why wouldn't we do it? Make sure you're getting evaluated by a pediatric chiropractor to get the body to start healing and get rid of this chronic sickness.
Thank you, Doc.
Welcome.
Website so people can get a hold of you?
htchiro.com.
You're going to stick around because it's smelling pretty good in the studio
It smells like
now.
onions, actually. I mean, I like onions, but...
I think they're going to be used in part of our recipe. Coming up next, we're making some smoked chicken tacos.